Hey guys, today I want to talk about painting my Dengfu E10. You know, when I first got the bike, it looked a little plain to me. I mean, it was all black, and I felt it just needed some accents anyway, or just something to make the bike stand out a little bit. So I did a little research, and I concluded that I could paint the bike with some acrylic paint, and that acrylic paint would have some pros and some cons. On the pro side, the acrylic paint would allow me to do the bike myself, and once the acrylic paint dried, supposedly it wouldn't come off with just water applied to it, or with soapy water, or with mud and grime. However, it would come off if I put alcohol on it. Now the downside, it doesn't look the greatest in the world, but it does give the bike a little bit of an accent. So I did go ahead with my plan, and I did put some paint on my Dengfu E10. And I want to share with you how I did it and what it looks like. So let's get into it. Okay guys, here was my Dengfu E10 right after I got it and after I'd first put it all together. And as you can see, the bike was just a black bike, no real accent colors other than what I'd put on the fork and a little bit of an accent with some of the bolts and the shock, but nothing really on the frame. And I just felt like the bike needed a little bit more accent on it. Plus, when I was out riding the bike, I got a couple of questions from people asking, what kind of bike was it and that kind of stuff. And I thought maybe it would help if I, did a little identification on the frame. So I looked into it and I found that if you used outdoor acrylic paint, that paint would adhere to the bike. Once it dried good, it wouldn't come off with water or soapy water or grit and grime, but it would come off if you applied rubbing alcohol to it. So it would be a good, semi-permanent solution that was reversible. Downside, I'll leave it up to you as to how good you think it looks. Probably this isn't for everybody, but for me it was a good temporary fix, and this is the paint I used. The next thing I did, I had to buy these tools. Basically, I needed a stencil with some lettering. Needed an old piece of heavy paper, razor blade, an X-Acto, a rotary cutter. Also, a protractor, was good there. So anyway, using those tools, I cut some stencils, one with E10, one with DF, one with Dengfu. I named the bike Alley because I got it through Alibaba, so I've named it Alley. So I made a stencil for the name of the bike. Once I got the stencils, I went and taped them on. Here I have showing the DF, which I'm using on the crown of the bike. Also taped on the E10 up in the top part of the bike. Also taped on the crossbar the Alley stencil, and on the side I had the Dengfu stencil. Once I got the stencils on, I took my paint, and by the way, it took me a while. I mixed the paint. I used, different colors, but here I'm showing just putting on a little bit of a lime green. Like I said, I put on a little lime green, accented it with a little red, mixed in a little bit darker green, and just messed around with it. Like I said, it's easy to reverse the process if you don't really like what you're doing, and I took full advantage of that. But here I go, just applying the paint to the bike with the stencil on it. Now, once I applied the paint and removed the stencil, on the crown I had DF, that stood for Dengfu. And then up at the top of the bike I had, an E10 marking on it. Across the cross tube I had the name of the bike, Alley, and it was mainly in red with a little accent in there for the green, and that sort of picked up some of the colors in the stem cap. And then down the side of the bike I had the Dengfu logo. Now, like I said, once these got good and dry, you could take water, I'm showing in this picture just spraying water on it to clean it off. Take a paper towel, rub it good, and as you can see, the paint doesn't smear or come off. It stays on really well. I've not had any trouble with the paint coming off from water or dirt, grime, soapy water, whatever. It's done great. However, you don't want to apply rubbing alcohol unless you do want to remove the paint. So I've got a red X. The isopropyl alcohol will remove the paint. So that's bad if you don't want the paint removed, but it's good, and I've got a green check there showing it will remove the paint, and that's good when you do want the paint removed. So that's how I painted my Dengfu bike. Here's a picture of it on the left. I've got sort of a front view where you can see the decals or the painting that I did and how it looks on the bike. And over on the right, I've just got another photo where you can kind of see how that alley looks with a little bit of a different color on there. So I hope I've given you guys something to think about, and I'll see you at the top.